Hello. This is Myrna from A Quilter's Choice APQS West, located in Colorado. Today I want to talk about custom versus edge to edge. With all the beautiful fabrics and the colorful prints, and solid fabrics are really popular right now as well. When you come to making a decision about the quilting, there's a lot of things you want to look at. For example, this quilt is a panel quilt, which again is super popular right now. Panels are everywhere and they're gorgeous. But let's face it, when you look at these panels and the fabrics that go with them, they are usually really busy. So when you go into quilt, if you're going to quilt around this gorgeous deer, you're really not going to see anything. And especially depending on what color you're using for your thread, you don't really want to use something contrasted. But in this quilt, what's contrasting? So again, I did an edge to edge on this. It looks gorgeous. It's very simple. The focus is on the quilt, not the quilting. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your design. And of course on the background, nothing shows on this either. So the next quilt we have is a gorgeous applique quilt by Karen. It's hand stitched applique. It's very large. This is folded into quarters. Now you'll notice in the border, it has a lot of space between the applique of the leaves, and she's hand embroidered the vine and around the center circles. So this is all hand applique. She's got this rectangle or diamond shape in between the blocks, and of course it creates the same out here. With the space around the applique, even though I'm going to stitch in the ditch around every piece of applique on here, that is not enough quilting. So I will come up with something to put on each side of the applique. I will put something in the center, I call it a pinch square. And on these circles, or these wreaths, there's leaves on both sides, so I will stitch in the ditch around that. I'll stitch in the heart. I don't know that I'll go in the heart. I might echo the heart. But to put an edge to edge on this quilt, you could, but it would totally distract from this beautiful quilt. So it's definitely a custom quilt. And it is gorgeous. So the next quilt I'm going to talk about is this black background quilt. It's very modern. It's gorgeous. It has a huge black circle in the middle, and it has all these diamonds, and in the outer border, I would call them more squares than diamonds. I guess they are diamonds, but they've got a design in each one. So putting an edge to edge on this would be not something I would do. It should be custom quilted. So going in here, I feel like I'm going to do custom work, ruler work in here, probably in here, and whatever I put in the black is going to be something that's going to complement the rest of the quilt. It really is gorgeous. Sunday did this, and I'm excited to get started on it, and it really is pretty. It's a square quilt pretty much, and the piecing is excellent. So this next quilt I call a sampler. It's a pattern and fabric from Northcott. Every block is different. The pattern in the fabric is very busy and not very big. The sashings, it's got 3 strips of fabric in here. Again, they're about 1 inch wide, and these little 9 patch, which is really cute. It complements the quilt, and it's probably got a 4-inch border. But look at the border print. Again, it's very busy. You're not going to see a lot of detail. So in this quilt, I really feel like an edge to edge would be perfect. To do custom, it would be a lot of work for something you're not really going to see. But on this, you could go either way. Stephanie did this, and it is absolutely beautiful. So the last quilt I want to talk about is a very whimsical quilt pattern. Again, it's very large. It looks the same on the other side as it looks on this side. It has pretty, I would say, jewel tones for the most part in the piecing. It's got these blue strips It's got birds, flowers, all kinds of different designs in it. So you could custom quilt this, absolutely. There's a lot of things you could do because the piecing is actually pretty big. So you could go in here and custom quilt this. You could put a pretty background in on the cream color fabric, but it would also do just fine with an edge to edge. It's very pretty, very whimsical. Also, keep in mind when you're custom quilting a quilt, they can get really heavy depending on how much quilting you put in them, and the size of the quilt. Sometimes the quilt itself is super heavy, so keep that in mind. But that's just some thoughts on edge to edge. If the fabrics are very busy, you're not going to see all your hard work. If there are more open spaces, of course you will see it, and it will complement the quilt. I hope this has helped you some in choosing whether you should do an all over or an edge to edge. And you know, an edge to edge is just the same thing, back and forth, a pantograph going from one side of the quilt to the other. Now you could also custom it a little bit more and do something different in the border. If you're going to put a pantograph in here and then do a different design out here in the border, you could do that as well. So join me next time. I want to talk about choosing color for threads and batting, because those make a difference in your quilt as well.